Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. What I consider their game of the day in the 78th edition of Tata Steel Chess, the Masters section, the A group, between David Navara, top world-class player from the Czech Republic, and Giri, who was on a tear in 2015. Played the Grand Chess Tour, 3 tournaments, didn't lose a game. He drew a whole bunch, but he won a couple too, but he lost in round 1. And I believe he drew yesterday, so this is round 3. Let's see what happens here. Sorry, my voice is a little hoarse, but it's upstate New York here, and it's about 10 degrees outside, a wind chill of about -5, so this cold weather can get to you. Let's get to it. Navara is white, Giri is black. It's going to be a Grunfeld. Typical Grunfeld stuff. Queen to b3, that's interesting. Grunfeld, there's many, of course, many variations. Pawn takes, queen takes. I think your queen out in the open like that would be a bad thing, but it's not. Castles, e4, get that nice center. a6. I heard on Danny King's Power Play Chess, who has a great YouTube channel on here. I was going over this game, and I believe he said in the old days, knight to a6 was the move. a6, bishop e2. b5, just trying to pick up some tempos. Gonna eventually fee and kettle this bishop basically for free because you're making the queen move. c5. D takes, pawn sacrifice. But I don't think white can hold that pawn. He could try, but it's not going to happen. e5, chasing off the knight. Knight comes back. Bishop e3. Now, temporarily he's guarding the pawn, but now this is an interesting move. It's second choice in the computer. Knight takes e5 is what the computer likes. e6. Just to stop that, I think e6 for white. That's the last book move according to the computer. Castles for white. Queen c7. Rook a d1. Knight takes. Queen a3. Hitting the knight again. Now this is interesting. Now you're going to see this is going to come into play a lot here. Black's knight on b8 is stuck. Not much play for him there. There's many variations to go through. Danny King does a little better job than me explaining why that knight can't come out. Knight to e4. Knight takes, bishop takes. Knight g5. I like that. Navara's going for it. Maybe he's just going for it because he's white. He's going for it because he's on Giri. He's on the ropes this tournament. Interesting. Magnus Carlsen's the same way. They don't play that well on their home turf. And the Netherlands, of course, is Anish Giri's home country. Bishop c6. Now, this is a move I like a lot. Rook to d2 is the computer. That's just too tame. f4. He needs to get that pawn on e5 protected. Queen over. Now I got that queen bishop battery bearing right down the queen king side here. Bishop c5. He lets him have it. There's several choices here. h6, kick off the knight. Bishop takes g2 and rook to e8. And I was really surprised Anish went for the rook to e8 move. I really am. Give you an idea, if you went h6, the knight just goes back to f3. And his problem is solved on the queen and bishop battery. But after rook to e8, this is a move that's not in top 3 choices of the computer, but I like it a lot. That means that David is going for it. f5. Computer didn't really care for it, but you know it's funny. Computer has no fear. A computer can analyze 20 moves in. We're playing with people here. Big difference. Pawn takes. Now, see if you can pause the video now and find the move that Navara makes now. It's also the #1 choice on the computer. See if you can find it. Rook takes pawn. Now he has to take. He has to take it. Now bishop h5. Threatening all kinds of mayhem right here on f7, the weakest point in her castle position. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? He picks bishop d5 to guard the f-pawn, and it's protected by the queen. Interesting, though. Rook to f8, I think, might have been a better choice. It was worth looking at. Then after bishop takes. And believe it or not, black's up a piece, but he's got his problems. Basically even after that, but you want to get in those complications. Bishop d5. Now rook takes. Queen takes. Bishop takes check. Queen takes. Knight takes. King takes. What it comes down to is, right now, it's two rooks, a knight for a queen and a pawn. But look at White's exposed king. Queen to b3 check. King g6. Queen to g3 check. King f7. Back to b3. King 6. They go back and forth here a couple of times. And now he decides not to. Now what he does is queen to f3. Now they were in the high 20s in moves. This is move 30. I think he was trying to do is get closer and closer to move 40. That's why I repeat it twice. Because Navara started to get a little bit low on time. Now you'll see he hits the pawn here. And the rook. And why is that rook a problem? Because that knight is still sitting on b8. Finally moves the knight. Give you an idea. Pawn can't be captured, of course, after queen takes rook e8. And it's over. After knight to d7, queen checks first. King goes to g6. Queen checks. Knight to f6. He lets him take with a pawn. Rook hits the queen. And now queen takes the pawn. Now, I like white a lot right here. Now, the computer gives about a pawn and 3/4 advantage for white. And this is very interesting, to say the least. It's a fascinating position. It's a queen and two pawns against two rooks, but it's not as easy as it looks. And I think Navara thought he was doing okay. First black hits the queen. And now he goes f7 check. King takes. Now queen takes the pawn. This looks very, very good for white. Almost a 2-point advantage, but good luck converting it. Of course, we see why rook can't take pawn, because queen checks. And the rook is lost. Oh, my arrow's a little sloppy there. So he goes rook a to d8. Queen to b3 check. He's having trouble. Now we're on move 37. He's getting low on time. If I remember right, when he hit move 40, he had about 20 seconds left. King to g6. Check. Desperately trying to get to move 40. King to f7. Queen to b3. King. Now this is a move here. The computer likes king to f1. For obvious reasons, the e-rook can't check. Get the double rooks down there in the back rank. Or h4, and I kind of like h4. But he went bishop d6. And that basically took all his advantage. By the way, that's move 40. He had about 20 seconds left on his clock, and that was his problem, I think. This would have been hard to convert. But with these two passed pawns, I think Navara could have converted it. Giri dodged a bullet. The bishop takes. Queen takes. Rook takes. h3. Rook a6. And you're going to see that after you double the rooks here. This pawn is going to fall. And it's basically, I'll call it for all intents and purposes, a fortress. There's no way he can make any headway. So this is where they called it a draw in move 42. I think Navara had a shot, But it's one of those weird things in chess, even at our level, amateur level, where you're doing really well and you get a very good position. And even a computer will show you're doing really well. Good luck trying to convert it. And therein lies the problem. So, Giri dodged the bullet. I think he was a little irritated since he lost round 1 and now he's got 2 draws. So, anyway, folks, that's what I consider the game of the day from round 3 of the 78th edition of Tata Steel Chess, the Masters section. I hope you enjoyed it. Look for other videos from this tournament, one of my favorite tournaments. And as I always say, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.